Hey everybody, I want to do a quick video and show you how I center my cards before I submit them to PSA. So I'm going to use two cards as a quick example here. Normally I actually have my stack of PSA cards that I plan to submit right here. And this is actually one of two stacks, but I grabbed two at random off the list. So real quick, here we go. What you want to purchase, first off, if you want to check your cards for centering, is this original GradeMaster card centering tool. Here's the information on here. I purchased it on eBay. There's lots of imitators out there. I highly recommend you purchase this one right here. If I remember right, it was very, very inexpensive, $8 to $10, $10 to $12, right in that range. So purchase one of these. Within this little package, you receive the actual grading tool, which it's hard to see there until we actually put a card underneath it. You get the measurements to tell you whether or not the card is centered enough for grading, and then you get a sheet of instructions as well. So when I pull a card off of my stack for PSA submission, so let's use this Michael Harris 2020 Bowman Auto. So, great card here, brand new card. I want to make sure it's centered. At first glance, I look at the card and sure enough, it looks well centered, but I want to check and I want to make sure. So I take the grading tool right here and I line up the edges of the card with the edges presented on the tool. So I make sure the card is properly within those lines. Right there. And now I start to look for areas of reference on the card for top and bottom lines and left and right lines. And I can see on the card that the white border goes right across the dotted line there with the number 4 on it. So now I go down and I want to look and see, well, where's the bottom line lined up? And I want to make sure the grading tool is still perfectly lined up. So I try to make sure that I can recognize exactly which line the border is going through. And it looks like it's going through about 3 or 4 there on the bottom. And it's hard to tell here on the camera, but you can do this a lot better in person. So there we go, a little bit better. So what I'm mostly showing you is how to use the actual tool versus trying to show you the numbers for this specific card. So I think I have about a 3 or 4 on the top. Let me check one more time what I had. Yeah, it looks like it's like a 4 at the top and a 3 or 4 at the bottom. So let's say that's what I have. I then take this reference tool and I look for a 4 to 3 ratio. And right here I have it here on the left side, 4 to 3. And what that says is that's a 57 to 43 grading percentage, or excuse me, a centering percentage. And that's actually good news because PSA will give you a PSA 10, not by law, but their general standard practice is that if you're 60/40 or better, you're eligible for a PSA 10. And like it says right here, the bold indicates that centering is 60/40 or better. And yes, the 4 to 3 fell within the 57 to 43 range. Now, of course, I want to take that card and I want to do the same thing to the back of it. And I'm looking at the lines here, and I can tell right away that it looks a little bit right side heavy here versus the left side at first glance. So I want to take the measuring tool. Right here, I put it on top of the card, and I want to start, first I make sure the lines are perfectly matched up to hit the outside corners of the card. And as you notice, I'm doing this with the penny sleeve still on the card because I don't want to damage or scrape up a card that I'm potentially sending to PSA right before I send it. So there's no reason that you can't measure these with a penny sleeve still on the card. So now I have my lines matched up. I'm looking at, it's hard to point to it while I have it lined up, but if you can see here on the left side, the gray line that shows the outside, it looks like it's right between the 2 and the 4, so that would be a 3 on the left side. Now I'm looking up, and I gotta make sure my centering tool is lined up right. So it does take a little bit of time. So as I look at this closer, it looks like on the left side, I'm right at the 2 or the 3 level. And then here on the right side, the gray line looks like it's closer actually to 3 or 4, which is concerning. So I would have to judge based on this that this is most likely, and it says the dash lines are even numbers. So I think I have a 2 on the left and a 4, and that's not going to be good news. A 2 and a 4 is a 67 to 33. I mean, this one is super close. However, this is how you use the tool to help you make the decisions. You want to look at the lines, is how they line up. You look at the reference number of where your left and right lines are, because you'll notice that the borders here is this gray line on the right side and this gray line on the left. Yeah, I mean, just without using the tool, you can tell it's a little right heavy on this card. So using the tool will help you decide whether or not you want to send it to PSA or not. And remember, the PSA, the normal percentage is 60/40. So I hope this helped you figure out how you can use the tool. But really, I mean, what's important too is that you want to make sure that you check the centering on the back of the card, not just the front of the card. Please like the video, subscribe, and I'll have more videos on how to submit to PSA, as well as many others in the weeks ahead. Thank you.